Hello, my name is Mark Cunningham and this is my story of when I met the Queen. I first joined the army in 1997 as a young 17-year-old. I joined the Household Division, joining the 1st Battalion Costume Guards. There I went on to serve for 17 years before being medically discharged in 2014, leaving as a Lance Corporal. I did several Queen's Guards, such as Buckingham Palace, St James's Palace, Windsor Castle and the Tower of London. My first encounter with the Queen was my first troop of colour in 1999. It was the battalion's turn to troop of colour. I was part of the number 2 guard. I also took part in my second troop of colour in 2000, also being part of number 3 guard. The third picture is myself and a few blokes who were from Singles Platoon, also costume guards. This was taken on Up Eric 7 in Afghanistan in 2007. It was an honour and a pleasure to serve in the Queen's Guards, and an absolute honour to be part of the long line of history behind it, and also serving Her Majesty the Queen. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Paula Porter. I worked for 35 years in the South Emergency Operations Centre, mainly as an emergency dispatcher, until 2020 when I got a job in scheduling a few weeks before the pandemic was heard about. It was lovely to have the ceremonial uniform with the hat. The picture of the band is a band I set up and ran in the 1980s and 90s. It later had to be disbanded when I became pregnant with my first child, as we struggled to find anyone to replace me. The band was called the Hampshire Ambulance Service Band. It was made up of serving personnel, including my dad, who served for 44 years as an ambulance man, family members and some of my friends. With the right backing, I'd love to form a Scaz band so we could do a few concerts in the carol service like we used to. Due to my efforts forming and running the band, I was recommended by the then Chief Ambulance Officer Richard Mawson to attend a Queen's Garden party. I believe it was about 1992, can't quite remember that far back. It was such an immensely proud day. I remember being a bit late as a policeman outside Buckingham Palace insisted on taking some pictures of me, which was kind. As you walk out to the back of the palace, you're at the top of a line of steps overlooking the gorgeous gardens. There were tents up with food in, one for the regular visitors, one for the dignitaries, and a royal one with a big crown on top for the Queen and her entourage. Everyone seemed to be staring at me as I stood there on top of the steps. I sensed something behind me and realised I was holding the Queen up. She was stood behind me waiting to come down the steps. Such an amazing special day.
Hello, my name's Mark Potts. I'm a community first responder with the ambulance service, so that's a volunteer role. I'm not actually paid by the ambulance service, but I volunteer my time to go out and do 999 calls. I had the great privilege to be invited to represent South Central Ambulance Service at the NHS Tea Party at Buckingham Palace. So back in June 21, I turned up at Buckingham Palace expecting it to be a big, huge event, but only to find that due to COVID, it was limited to 30 people. So there was just a handful of us in a tea party in the gardens of Buckingham Palace with Prince William, our host. He was an amazing guy. He's lovely to talk to. He really made you feel that he was interested. He was interested in how the pandemic had taken a toll on our mental health and how we were coping with everything. It was truly a humbling experience. Just a handful of us. He was probably talking to us for about 20 minutes at my table. You know, it was great. It just felt like having a chat with a friend. They had the band playing. It was just absolutely awesome, and I'm truly honoured to have represented South Central Ambulance Service at the Palace.
Hi, I'm Kirsten and I'm the Head of Operations for the North South and North West nodes within SCAS. At the tail end of 2018, I received a very formal envelope at home. I honestly thought that I'd been put forward for jury service again. As it transpired, I'd actually been nominated for the British Empire Medal in the Queen's 2019 New Year's Honours list. I was incredibly humbled by this gesture, particularly as it related to my services to NHS leadership. In April 2019, I was invited to an awards ceremony at Windsor, where I was presented with my British Empire Medal by the Lord Lieutenant of Berkshire on behalf of the Queen. Later in the summer, I also attended Buckingham Palace to attend one of the Queen's garden parties. It was so lovely to be in the presence of so many people who had received awards and accolades. We were all there because we either had awards or had done some good service towards the community. It was also really nice to be in the presence of the royal family and particularly in the presence of the Queen, who's somebody that I've admired for all my life. So today I'd like to take the opportunity to wish Her Majesty the Queen all the very best for her Jubilee. And to thank her for the 70 years that she has dedicated herself to the lives of the UK and the Commonwealth across those 70 years. Thank you.